So with all of that being said, please welcome our first presenters, Gary Beckman and Cherie Beltran with Boys and Girls Club of Sedalia.
Good morning. Thank you all very much for coming out this morning. We've got a little bit presentation here for you, that a couple videos and stuff. I've been the executive director here today with our Boys and Girls Club for 4.5 years. I've been with Boys and Girls Club for a little over 26 years. So, yeah, I'm an old guy, if you can't tell. Cherie has been our director of development for 4 years. So, she's done a wonderful job for us, and she's going to take care of our tech side of stuff. So, our first slide, there's a picture of our great kiddos we have. Some are, they're always, you always got one, and there's always one. And I know that's the table. When Sydney was saying, you got to be quiet, I know the table. So, we've got a quick video here we're going to show with our national spokesperson, Denzel Washington. You may have heard of.
What is the most influential time in a child's life? Age 6, 8, 12? Actually, it's between 3 and 8 every afternoon. That's the time a kid is most likely to get into trouble. Or worse. Which is exactly why that's the time the Boys and Girls Clubs open their doors and their arms to kids all over the country every day. When kids walk into these clubs, they're surrounded by people who care what happens to them. Adults who make sure these children continue to learn and grow long after the school bell rings. But there's still thousands more kids who need our help. Thousands of kids who need help to prepare for a positive future. Please help keep these doors open. Support the Boys and Girls Clubs, the positive place for kids.
That video is kind of dated because now our tagline is "Great Futures Start Here." But Denzel's been a national spokesperson. He grew up as a Boys and Girls Club, as a Boys and Girls Club alumni, and when he talks about opening our doors and opening our arms, we did more of that in the last 2 years, 18 months than we ever had before. So, brief history. 1960, we became the Boys Club of Sedalia. We opened up in Convention Hall, and we averaged about 100 kids that first year, 61 years ago now. And with that, it was a lot of sports. There was a lot of game room stuff and a lot of kind of hobby and craft work and stuff. And it was a couple days a week was all, for a couple hours. Now we have Monday through Friday services after school till 6:30, sometimes 7 o'clock at our teen site. We have 12 total sites, so we grew from one site to 12. We have 6 in Sedalia, 5 of our elementary schools in Sedalia 200. And then our teen site, the club, is located in the First Baptist Church downtown. We also have sites in Smithton, Cole Camp, Lamont, Green Ridge, Dresden, and is that 6? I think that's 6. So Dresden, Lamont, Cole Camp, Leeton, and then Smithton. And so we provide services to our rural communities as well. And if you're a member in one, you're a member in all of those. So if you, during break, can come to Sedalia, your parents work here, you can ride with them, kids can come in and be a part of those drop-in days that we have. So next slide, Cherie's going to talk a little bit more about our programs.
Yeah, so, actually, since I'm on the fundraising side, I don't always get to see the kids doing the programs. And a lot of people I talk to want to know, well, what exactly are they doing after school? And I think sometimes there's just an idea that they're just, mainly like letting off some steam and playing games. And they are doing that, but they're doing so much more than that. There is a little flyer on your table if you're interested. There's so many programs in here that I didn't even know we had all of these. But basically, you can think of our programs as falling into one of 3 categories. Academic success, which our probably most prominent program, you may have heard of this, is called Power Hour. And when my kids were in Boys and Girls Club, when I lived in New Mexico, this is what I loved as a parent because they get their homework done every day after school. And I never had to worry. When they came home, we could have dinner, we could watch TV or play together. They got their homework done every day. And especially after COVID, we started to notice that the reading ability, the math ability has slipped some. So we're really concentrating on reading with the kids, reading to the kids, working on literacy, little extra worksheets, and math. And if you come visit after school at one of these, you'll see this going on every day. It's really important. And there's many others, not just Power Hour, but Money Matters is one where we teach them how to manage money responsibly, how to create a budget, what should you spend your money on, and like boat or food, which one do you pick? Boat! No. But we've had some of our local banks come in and work with the kids, and that was amazing. Working on career ideas so that they can know what's available in the future. Ultimate Journey is one I participated in this week, and I didn't know I was going to participate in that. It was about recycling. And I tried to hide behind one of the kids, but he was kind of small, and they said, you haven't done it yet. So they made me go pick out from the trash bag, and it was all pre-arranged, so don't worry about that. But I had to decide if my item was to be recycled, composted, or trash. So it's one of our educational programs. Character and leadership. This really is our torch club. All of our sites have a club that the kids run. The kids have officers, I believe. They decide on a community service project they want to do. This one was in Leeton, I believe, at the time. And they raise money for Children's Mercy. But we've had them raise money. It's whatever they come up with. The animal shelter, or when the tornado hit our Jefferson City site. It's not one of our sites, but it's a sister club in Jefferson City. The kids wanted to raise money to help them. And so it's amazing to see what they come up with. Then we have, Youth of the Year is a big one, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And healthy lifestyles, I really like the yoga poses here. This is where you will see them learning different games, playing sports. I have seen them do meditation and yoga at Horace Mann, and I wanted to join in that one. It was very relaxing. So sometimes it's letting off a lot of steam, sometimes it's becoming more meditative. And then all of these things have been impacted by COVID, so Gary's going to tell you just a little bit about that.
Yeah, March of 20, we all, we were shocked that this came through, the pandemic started, and so everything shut down, and we quickly learned, our partnership with Sedalia 200 is so strong, and we are so thankful for that we can stay connected with our kids, that we immediately pivoted from having in-person sessions to, packing up meals with Sedalia 200 staff and getting meals to our kids and our families, as well as we would make packets of stuff to take kids. We text them, we call them, we would email, we'd send videos to them of different things. We had one staff member that had a little Komodo dragon and did a whole thing about that. I don't know how many times I watched that and learned so much about a Komodo dragon. But we learned through that process, we were just touching a small amount of our members. They just didn't have the capability or the capacity to get online and do these things. So we immediately got into gear, and thankful for our board and such a tremendous staff that we have, that we knew we had to find a way to safely open our doors. And so after being shut down for 2 months, May 18th, we opened up early that year, 2 weeks earlier than we had planned for our summer program. We were the first club in the state of Missouri to open up for kids, and thankful for our staff, because they're the ones that pulled that together and made that happen. 2 weeks prior, before any other club in the state, and was one of the first ones across the country that opened doors. So we showed, and when we went through that, it was a slow process, but there was opportunities. I think the previous slide showed where nationally, clubs across the country were showing about 38%, were serving kids at about a 38% rate pre-COVID numbers. We were at 70% and went from 70 when school started up to immediately 80%. And everyone else stayed around that 38 to 40%. Right now, currently, we're about 80 to 85% of those numbers. We're still trying to recover from those. So and we're still doing well. The next slide shows some of the things that we talked about. We pivoted. We retained everyone on staff. We didn't cut any of our staff. We were able to shift funds with our grants and come up with new creative ways. I mean, during the pause of that, it allowed our staff to get creative and use their imagination that we always talk to our kids about using every day. Is let's be creative, let's problem solve here. And here now, it's our task to problem solve for our kids. So we saw about $71,000 reduction in program fees during those first 3 months, and we saw an unexpected increase in cost of $110,000. So that's kind of balance. That throws the scale way out of balance there. Unfortunately, our community stepped up and helped us during that time.
Yeah, so now back to one of our premier programs, and we do try to tie in local businesses whenever possible to support these programs and events. We have a sponsor for the Youth of the Year program, but we were able to do the Youth of the Year program last year. It's a competition. They are nominated by their site directors. They write an essay about what it means to be a Boys and Girls Club member. They do this in front of an audience, and there's a selection process. So Chase was our Youth of the Year, or is our current Youth of the Year. We had to just kind of do that in our office with not a whole lot of fanfare, but he did awesome. We do have also a junior and an elementary winner from our different sites. And we call upon them during the year. We want you to come and be part of this event or be in a Christmas parade, possibly, so they do have to work a little bit. But the one coming up for 2022 is on the 18th at the Liberty Center, and you're all invited to come to that. It's a really special time, and it really showcases, I think, what it means to be a Boys and Girls Club member. But being a nonprofit, we do rely on the generosity of the community, and we have 3 main fundraisers during the year. And our largest one is the Evening of Heart and Hope, Gala and auction. Last year it was virtual. We had never done a virtual one before, and we were pretty terrified about that. But it turned out okay. We actually, found ways to make it happen. And this year we're planning to do it in person at the Ag Building. So it's going to be a Mardi Gras theme, and tickets go on sale today in case you're interested. You can visit our website. Another way that we've been trying to raise money is through the tax credits that are available through the state of Missouri. So if you are a business owner, we have the program for business owners to donate to our neighborhood assistance program, and those come with 70% tax credits. We still have some available through December 31st, and they're going fast. So if you want some, let me know. But this program really assists with our rural sites quite a bit. And then for our end-of-year giving campaign, we are doing the Whatever It Takes campaign right now. It's led by Tyson, and everyone is welcome to participate in that. We've had an overwhelming response. Our goal was $30,000, and we're at about $22,000 right now. So we know we're going to get more support for that and get it to the finish line December 31st.
And this is how you can stay connected with all the happenings with Boys and Girls Club. We've got a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. Just look for us on bgckids.com is our website. So, and then we've got another quick video, I believe. Hopefully, cross our fingers and our eyes. This is filler time. So the Youth of the Year event, we're hopeful that we'll be able to participate in this year at the state capitol.
At Boys and Girls Clubs of West Central Missouri, we're investing in our kids today to build the next generation.
Maybe see most of it.
Investing in increasing academic time, especially
These are our local kids.
Successful in school and will fall behind. Investing in the health of our members so they're active and playing every day. Investing in workforce development to ensure our teams have a plan to start their careers. Investing in staff and making sure Boys and Girls Club is a safe place for all our members. Investing in nutrition because we know whole bellies help keep minds focused and ready to learn. Investing in building relationships and creating a place where kids feel like they belong. Investing in fun and allowing our kids to just be kids. Thanks for investing
In us.
Thank you for investing in me. And me. In us! Thank you for investing in Boys and Girls Club. Thanks for investing in Boys and Girls Club. At Boys and Girls Club, we're investing in creating successful youth development strategies to ensure all students are on the path to a great future.
Thanks to Mr. Callis for making that awesome video for us.
And that's us. Questions? All right, excellent.
I do have a question. And maybe you mentioned it earlier and I just missed it, but how many students total do you guys?
Right now, our membership is around 1,100 kids. And that's anybody that signs up for a membership that wants to come to the club. Not all those come on a regular basis. A better tale of what we do in our service to the community is our average daily attendance. And right now, that's right around 600 or 500 kids. Pre-COVID, it was around almost 600, and now we're a little over 500.
What's it take to be a member?
Just an application and a membership fee of $10. And we do charge a daily fee of $5 per day. There are scholarships available and there's funding available, so if that's a deterrent to joining, we eliminate that. And any kid that wants to be a member can be a member.
Do you have any max, like a capacity on the number of kids that you can serve?
We used to not, because we really didn't want to limit that. But the pool that we have to pull from for employees, as everyone, we suffer that. And since we're a licensed daycare, we have to keep a certain ratio, and we're depending on the site. Each site's different, licensed for a certain number, and so with that, we have to keep within that range and keep within that ratio. And so right now we have a pause, I guess, basically at our Parkview site till we get staff hired and trained to get that to where they need to be. So. And that's the struggle right now, is making sure we have qualified people on the floor working with our kids day in and day out. Sometimes people think, oh, it's easy, you just go there and you babysit. Well, no, there's a lot more to it. We want the next Denzel out of our class, out of our room. We want the next, Jennifer Lopez. All these people that have made, big impacts in their life. We know we have the next leaders in our group, and we want to get them on that path to success. I always find it interesting, in 26 years, and it doesn't shock me, but the number one reason, does anyone know the number one reason kids come to the club, other than your parents make you? But the number one reason kids come to the club is the staff and the relationships they build with that. And we see that with our staff that have been employed with us for 15, 20 years. These kids that they start with kindergarten, staff get invited to their high school graduation. Then get invited to their college graduation. That's impactful, and that's where we really set our roots in those relationships. Yes?
Is your entry point mainly through the schools or direct?
Mostly through the schools. We also, we have, through the pandemic, we moved everything online and paperless registrations. So we have that through our website that people can download and submit those that way.
So looking ahead, are there programs that you would like to expand into that with financial capacity to do so?
Absolutely.
Or geographic areas that you
Right now, our big push is to find ways for workforce development. We want to go down that path and get our kids in a path that, I mean, I'm a good example. I mean, if I grew up in a little town of Plata, Missouri, up in northeast corner, went to Truman State, so grew up in that rural area, didn't have Boys and Girls Club, didn't know what one was. It would have been helpful to have that to kind of guide me. And that's the thing is, I look where we're at now in the manufacturing community that Sedalia is, and I know for me, I was sold kind of a weird, bill of sale here saying, oh, you've got to go to a 4-year school and you've got to get a good job and you've got to do this if you want to make a good living. Well, there are people in the community who are making good living that didn't have to go to a 4-year college. They went to a 2-year or whatever. So we want to kind of introduce those and set a pipeline for State Fair here with their new expansion project that they've got going with their Excellence Center. And we want to introduce those to that next generation of workforce coming in. Yeah.
A couple of questions, actually. So the first one is, what is your staff to student ratio? And then secondly, what about kids with special needs? What programs do you have available?
Our staff is at max 1 to 15. We do no one-on-one. It's always either small group or 1 to 15. 1 to 5 is what we look at and what we strive to keep within that. If our numbers dictate, then we hire more staff to get to stay within that. Special needs, we are inclusive, so we work with in all of our students, we work with the school, the parents, outside entities, organizations, in how we can best provide programs and the best way for them to be successful in those programs. So it's a collaborative effort in how we program for kids.
Thank you.
That's it.
Do you have volunteer opportunities?
We most certainly do. Do you want to tackle that one?
Yes, we love volunteers. Talk to me. One thing you can do, there's 2 kind of ways to approach it. You can volunteer to help at our events and things like that, if that's something you're interested in doing. For example, we usually have volunteers who help us with the registration side of the big Evening of Heart and Hope. We have volunteers that model the purses and things like that. We have volunteers who help us with the Tyson truckload sale, just carrying boxes. That's something that you want to do, and we have had a lot of students, high school students help us with that as well for A+ hours and things like that. That's awesome. You can also come and read to kids or, just be with them. There's mentoring opportunities. We do require a background check process for regular volunteers who are with the children because their safety is of the utmost importance to us. So the kids love to have volunteers come in and just spend time with them. They just want to talk sometimes and talk. But there's a lot of opportunities. So if you are interested, please let me know. We'll get you in there. You can get to be a kid again. Yeah. Yes.
And then as far as the students being able to do service hours, is there basically what have you had them doing so far as with things like that?
For example, with the high school students for A+, we've had them come in, they fill out an employment application, actually. They don't get paid though. It's for volunteer hours, but they go through the background check. It's a very simple process, and if that is clear, then they come in and they work with a site director. Let's say that they want to be at Skyline, and that's the most convenient for them after school. They would come over and assist with the programs. At Skyline has a lot of kids, and Parkview does as well. So those are 2 really prime spots for helping. Just helping, make sure that, if a kid is kind of confused about what program to go into or kind of, just staying on task, they're perfect for that. Sometimes they help with math homework, English homework with the older kids downtown. In the summer, we've had students help with the pool because it's kind of scary to take all the kids. We don't take all of them at once. Don't worry about it. But we'll take a grade level each day. So can we have extra eyes on the kindergartners? That would be really amazing. So that's a fun time to volunteer too.
Some of the service projects that our kids do is they'll go out and clean up a park. They'll do that. They recently wrote, or actually right now they're in the process of creating Christmas cards for airmen over at Whiteman.
Right.
They've gone to the Veterans Home and have sung the national anthem to them there. Those are the things. And that's our thing is it's, they're like, well, I'm just a kid. What can I do? Like, there's a lot you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's your community as much as anyone else's. So give back to your community. Make your community better. Service, and that's our mission is to make them productive and caring citizens. So. It's
Any
just-
ideas of geographic expansion on the horizon or areas that you'd love to grow in?
Yeah, selfishly, I being from the north part of the state, I-70 seems to be the dividing line that there are no clubs north of I-70. So I would like to see Boys and Girls Club move up in that direction, and me, jealous being growing up in a rural community. Those kids face the same issues that our kids in St. Louis, Springfield, Kansas City do. So they're not exempt from that. So I would really like to see us expand into that area. I'm always open to that idea because I know the benefit of the club. I would say this. I got my degree in exercise science, and my career path was to do corporate fitness and work through that and go that route. Lo and behold, moved to Chicago, did that, started working for YMCA at Metro Chicago. Didn't like the winters, didn't like all the extra activities happening around, and moved to Central Illinois and stumbled into Boys and Girls Club. And best decision I ever made was on faith alone. Left the job, didn't have a job, moved down there and found Boys and Girls Club and found my calling. So yeah, I'm open to expanding because there's kids out there that aren't being served that need that service.
What does it take to expand to another city?
Community involvement is the big thing. We need a community that can see a need for it, and then that's when we can come in and find out how we best fit to fill that need, and then work with them on ways. For us, in today, a partnership with the school is almost vital wherever you go because they have access to the kids, and more times than not, they have space available after school hours for us to go in there and supplement what they're doing during the day and enhance that and then work with them in partnership. So ideally it'd be nice to have your own space. You can do a lot more programming, but to start off, that's a great way to begin as in schools.
Clinton, Missouri, are we talking about you?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I have
Keep the phone ready.
Yes. Wonderful.
I might have spoke with someone down that.
Diary there, I think.
That-
Her husband is a principal, assistant principal at the middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you my
Diary
card
there for
afterwards.
sure.
So yeah, absolutely. We've talked with Warsaw a little bit. Otterville, we've had conversations with pre-COVID, and that COVID changed so much in our lives and our world. But there's conversations in Warsaw a little bit. We had Knobnoster. Everyone's always, and it's, a lot of people think, or some people think, it's just add water and go. There's a lot more to it. My goal is I never want to start something and then have to take it away from those kids. Let's plan for the next generation on how we serve this generation by providing service for the next generation and generations after that. And that's the neat thing about us being around 61 years is you get to see those grandkids of original members come in and going, yeah, I used to come to the club and I played basketball and I did this and I made a leather craft and I think I still have that. That's meaningful. That meant something to them that they still have those things and they have those memories. And now, they're bringing their grandkids and relatives in. So, but certainly.
So kind of as a closing question, what can the community do to help the Boys and Girls Club be successful?
I think the big thing right now is exposing our kids to employment and career opportunities. Is having, now that we're able to have guests come back in, is talk to our teens and talk to our tweens about what they do and how they got into their career path. I'm like I said, I was in corporate fitness and that was my area, and look at me now. So many are that way. We have a dead set. I'm going to college. I started college wanting to be an accountant. I don't know what I was thinking. For any accountant, nothing against that, but I'm not that. No. So, just a disclaimer. I thought this is great. I'm going to do this, and then no. But just see how you have a plan for your life, and then where things take you, and you adjust, and you're like, okay, yeah, now this is what I do, and I couldn't find myself anywhere else. And that's what we want for our kids. You know, if you find a career path that you love, you'll never work a day of your life. You enjoy going to work, enjoy that. So that's the big thing, is that opportunity, and then ways that we can plug in and create a pipeline for the co-op and different things through high schools and stuff. So just that introduction at a lower level.
Well, thank you guys very much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.